Hi, this is Bethany Marshall from Morgan James Publishing, and today I'm speaking with our author, Maria Nebres. Maria is the author of Love in the Highly Engaged Team, Make a Difference Through Your Leadership. Hi, Maria, how are you today?
Hi, Bethany. I'm well, thank you. Thanks for having me here.
Oh, thanks so much for being here. We're so excited to speak about your very timely book, Love and the Highly Engaged Team. So, could you tell me a little bit about what inspired you to write your book?
If I could sum it up in one word to start, I would probably say it's the four-letter word that doesn't start with the letter F that inspired me, because it is the four-letter word that smarter than smart leaders, smarter than smart, motivated individuals tap into when they want to get something very meaningful done for themselves and through others and with others and for others. And that four-letter word made it in my book, which is called Love and the Highly Engaged Team. Love, to me, I truly believe, is the single source by which we can tap into that number one thing that creates brilliance for all of us, and that is high engagement. It is the actual source for high engagement. And the topic of my book is really all about and for the motivated leader who find themselves in a situation where they have in trouble when it comes to engaging their teams and engaging individuals for that common purpose. Um, they find themselves burning the midnight oil themselves and thinking and wondering, how can I get my team producing more? Little do they realize and know that it starts from within themselves. I am reminded, and the reason why I was so inspired by this is because growing up as a child, I came from a family of six who my parents at the time immigrated us to Canada from the Philippines. And growing up as a child, I saw the importance of work ethics. And I saw the importance of contributing to progressive society and showing up and doing the work that you loved, or it was work for the sake of love. And I will never forget that. But I also saw in my parents, and then in the years growing up and doing my own vocation in my career, I saw certain things that were showing up where we tend to be, on the one hand, motivated, and on the other hand, we tend to forget that balance of work and life. And it certainly showed up in my experience in the 29 years of work, contributing as a human resources management and a business partner for many leaders within the organizations. And who I truly felt for was both the leader and the employee. When at the end of the day, we all want to do what it is that we were meant to do here on this earth. And what I find oftentimes is when pressures start to become overwhelming for us, and we want to influence other people's contributions in that alignment of performance or productivity, we find ourselves in a position where we ourselves get burnt out. And then we lose track of where the source of that love comes from, which is from within. I faced it certainly, and I faced many bouts of burnout in my years. In fact, it drove me to opening up my own business 17 years ago, and I haven't looked back since. But over time, in the 17 years of my own consulting practice, where I help the corporate world lead both leaders and employees, what I have found is that it is so critical and so important to do what it is you love. So when I speak about the word love, I speak about the word love from the purest sense of the word. When we can take a look at the timelessness that we can bring into time, so we don't ever have to worry about never having enough time. These are the words that come from the people that inspire me to do as much as I can to help them. And what I share is really my experience of through my own burnout and having gone into personal transformation, which has been what really helped to gravitate me back to that source for high engagement for myself. And it inspired me to put it together in my message in my book that we all need to do and to become and to embody love. And then everything else in the material world does show up. I look back at my life, I look back at the work that I do with my client leaders as well as employees who go through high transitions in their lives. And, you know, the alienation that they feel where they're not whole. That is something that limits high engagement. But when you actually incorporate and understand the flow and the ease of this word called love and put it at the business seat, this common purpose with a group of people coming together and you rallying and inspiring is effortless. And then everything else shows up in terms of outcomes. So that is the purpose of my book, and that's what inspired me. It was really a love letter to both leader and the employees that come with the leader. Yeah.
What a powerful message, and one again I feel is very timely, considering how important having an engaged team has been in the recent times, and how much we have had as different groups of people and teams and organizations have had to transition to finding new ways of working together. Through some of the recent challenges that we as a world have begun to face. So
Right.
specifically the last couple of months have posed some pretty unprecedented challenges, which began to really unfold even after you had finished writing your book. So how
Right.
do you feel that your message from your book applies to these current times, or has your message changed through this?
My message has changed in the sense that it's become a lot deeper. And it actually gave birth to the pivoting or the companion program for it, where it is a deeper dive to really truly understanding where love comes from. And if you do the inner work, it comes from within you. And to truly embody it, you not only have to understand love, but because of it cannot come out in any other way than from within. And it starts from the individual's self, which then you start to emanate out to others, that vibration of love. It became so much more meaningful to me in these past few months, you know, whether it was COVID times, and that pivoted everyone. That pivoted everyone from the standpoint of feeling comfort and discomfort, fear of letting go of the old structures, the old ways, and yet we relied so heavily on those systems and structures which had been crumbling over those months. I remembered when I came back from my book agent session. It was a retreat. It was at the onset of COVID way back in March. And I came back having been forced to quarantine myself for 14 days. That happened to have been the period that I was going to pick up my promo material for my book, and I couldn't. And I had the bookstores that I'd contacted to sign up for book signing and my book reading, and forced me to have to pivot my way of how do I showcase my book and still go through this whole new lifestyle where your home life, your personal life, and your work life is now condensed into one. So there was that. And there was also the travesty of, at a global level, in terms of some of the travesties around um, the wake of George Floyd and what that unearthed. So, are we living in uncertain times? It probably was a magnification of a lot of what we go through in the previous times. But what it had taught me was that even more so in today's world, we cannot afford to wait to do our inner transformation, because it's from our inner transformation, from really truly loving ourselves. And when I speak of that, it's doing transformation work of really discovering what you embrace, which is there is no good and there's no bad, because everything is a blessing. A lot of the work I do is very faith-based, and it brings in the harmony of not only intellectual capability, which is, you know, the material competencies that we get our certification, we do our time in the workplace. It's also the emotional capability, the emotional intelligence, the emotional management, when it's gravitated and anchored the heart, which is the source for the embodiment of love. And it's the spiritual quotient as well. So a lot of what my book is really highlighting is that there is such limitless possibilities for recreating and resetting to a better way, a better set of systems and structures that moves us into the times. Because, you know, it's inevitable. We go through a life of uncertainty is very common, and especially for motivated individuals. A motivated individual wants to thrive, but with thriving, and I highlighted in my book, you know, there is this misnomer that when you hit success, you're successful. But, you know, the reality is it's one success after another, which poses dilemmas. And I highlight that in my book as well. So, how prepared are we to make certain decisions when we're faced with dilemmas, because pressures are at us all the time and change is very constant. So I definitely think that my message is a lot deeper and a lot more necessary in today's world. Yeah.
Wow. So you've already shared a great deal of wisdom and insight into your book and into your message, but do you have any final words of guiding inspiration for leaders to keep in mind today?
I would say that my words of inspiration, I will leave that get to know and be comfortable with the timelessness of the power of love. Become it, because despite circumstances, despite challenges, you will find yourself not gravitating to this dilemma that should not exist, which is the dilemma of, do you choose love or do you choose fear and scarcity? You find yourself just naturally, because you embody love, and then you will find that what you will embrace is the limitless possibilities of a soulful business, a soulful life that doesn't fragment individuals, starting with yourself, to become whole so that you can be a leader that truly makes a difference by understanding that high engagement is all about expression from your core truth. And your core truth is your core truth of vitality, core genius, talents, and gifts. And it's not just within you, it's within each and every individual. There is this thing about what true leaders believe and understand, and that is, to be a true leader, you want other people to be leaders as well. It isn't about managing humans, it's managing resources so that you can bring about their core truths as well. So those would be my final words of inspiration.
Wow. So incredible to hear you talk about your message and to talk about your book, Maria. Congratulations on the book launch of Love and the Highly Engaged Team. We're so proud of you here at Morgan James.
Oh.
Thrilled to be your publishing partner with
Uh, And I appreciate Morgan James Publishing. You guys have really, really helped me to stretch, which is really all about the thriving component. I could not have done this with you and with the author incubator, Angela Loria. I truly believe that we all need our resources and our supports to make us shine. And for that, I am so grateful. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, thanks so much for spending some time with me today. Congratulations again. And thanks everyone.
Thank you, Bethany. Thank you. Peace. Thank you.